So it's been a pretty quiet period, unfortunately, for Star Wars gaming over the last, realistically, 5 years. There's been a few games, obviously, but it's been a bit of a down patch, let's be completely honest. That may change today, though, because for those who weren't aware, the Game Awards is happening in about 12 hours from when this video is going live. And if you guys want to tune in and watch it, I will be streaming it, not on this channel, I'll be streaming it on the gaming channel. I'll leave a link to that down below. So if you want to tune in and watch that, I'll be reacting to all the new games and all that sort of thing. But the reason I bring that up on this channel is that there is a very good chance we actually may get finally some Star Wars gaming news at the Game Awards, with potentially a trailer, potentially a new announcement. We don't know if this is going to be something completely new. We don't know if maybe they'll show something we already know about or something, but there are a lot of rumors that I'm going to go through in today's video that very much point towards the fact there is a high chance of getting something Star Wars at the Game Awards. So I'm going to run you guys through all of that. Like I said, if you want to tune in 12 hours from when this video goes live, I will be live over on the gaming channel for the entirety of the Game Awards. So be sure to stop by and say good day. Now, firstly, I wanted to start off with some actual proper news. This is actually confirmed, and just to reduce my own editing as well, whenever I'm not showing stuff on screen, I'm just going to put some classic Battlefront gameplay in the background, because one, that means I don't have to edit the video as much, and two, we all love Battlefront. So enjoy some random kill streak in the background that I'll find. But firstly, I wanted to show you guys this. This is from the official Star Wars account, not even the Lucasfilm Games. They reposted it, but this is from the actual Star Wars account. They've said, "We are excited to announce we're working with 036 Studio and CCG Lab to develop a brand new digital collectible card game where players can battle across the Star Wars galaxy. Stay tuned for future updates." Now, unfortunately, there's no other news. There's literally no like blog post or anything. That is unfortunately all we know. So this could be coming out early next year. This could be coming out in literally 2028. I have honestly no idea, but it is exciting that we do have a new game announcement now. I know a lot of people are going to see, oh, it's a card game, like who really cares? I'm kind of in that boat a little bit in terms of, I mean, you can even see it here. This Elliot has got my sentiment exactly. I'm sure you guys know Elliot, Battlefront Updates. He said, "Could we please have a multiplayer shooter?" And that is kind of the feeling that I have as well towards this, is that yes, a card game could be really fun. A lot of people are saying this could potentially be something like Marvel Snap, which is really successful, but in the Star Wars universe, which I would be really keen for. But this could end up being the best card game that has ever been made. It's not Battlefront 3. It's not some multiplayer shooter that I think 90% of Star Wars gamers want. So I'm sort of torn on the news. It's good news. We're getting a new game. I'm never going to complain about a new game, but it is another one of those like niche games. We've had Star Wars Hunters. We've had Beyond Victory, the VR game, or the mixed reality game. Now that's a lot of little niche games in a row that I think we all just want that big AAA shooter or any form of multiplayer game, even like a freaking pod racing game or something. We just want something we can log hours into that is a proper AAA experience. So anyway, I thought I would just bring this up for anyone who missed it. There is a new Star Wars game on the horizon. Again, when that's going to be, I'll let you guys know once we find out updates, but it's still good to know that there is something on the way anyway. Now, getting into what we're going to be finding out, hopefully, today at the Game Awards, though, this is completely unrelated. So there is this guy called Kurakasis. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but I'm not going to lie, I always thought it was Kurakakis, because this guy's a notable leaker. I've been like sort of seeing his stuff for years, but I've actually just realized I'm pronouncing it wrong. Anyway, this dude on December 4th, right? So this is, as I'm recording, this is essentially a week ago. He said, "A big Star Wars game announcement is coming very soon. And just to be clear, this announcement has nothing to do with Star Wars Zero Company or Eclipse." Now, on one hand, this could be that, which if that's the big announcement, just fucking end me now. Genuinely, just delete me, please. Someone put me out of my misery immediately. But no, I don't think this is the big update. I think this is just, you know, it's a niche game. They know that. I don't think Star Wars thinks this is going to be the biggest game of all time or something. So I don't consider that a big Star Wars game announcement. And as he says, just to be clear, it's not Star Wars Zero Company or Eclipse, which I thought maybe at the Game Awards we could get something from Zero Company, and we still may get that because that is launching next year. But yeah, this could be something completely separate. Now, notice that he didn't say Jedi 3. There is a good chance this could be Jedi 3, right? That is a possibility, and I'll get to that later in the video. But there is this tweet above, and this was 3 days later. He says, "The title of this game ends with the Old Republic." Now, this is where a lot of speculation has come into play, and over the the next few days after this tweet, there was actually more news that came out, not from him, but from other people in the industry talking about KOTOR, which obviously ends in the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic. So this has kind of led most people to believe that the big Star Wars game announcement is something to do with KOTOR. Now, that doesn't confirm it, because there could be any game that ends in the Old Republic. They could literally make, hell, it could be fucking Battlefront, the Old Republic, it could be literally anything. So this doesn't necessarily confirm it is KOTOR, but that obviously the signs point towards it being KOTOR. We know that the original KOTOR remake has been in the works for 3-4 years now. I say in the works because it's been cancelled about 10 times according to other people, and then it's back alive. We don't know what's going on. It does seem like that may legitimately be back though, and like I said, a few days later some more information came out. Now, looking at this tweet from Star Wars Holocron, who they are obviously just the aggregators, the actual news has come from someone else that I'll get to in a second, but this says a full remake of Knights of the Old Republic 2 with modern gameplay and an improved ending is reportedly in the works. Notice that doesn't say just KOTOR, it is KOTOR 2. So we already knew that KOTOR 1 was being remade, or at least we hoped, but now this news has come out of actually KOTOR 2 potentially being remade as well. So there have been plenty of other tweets as well throughout this week. IGN weighed in on it. There was Daily Star Wars Games, who's run by Azatru. KOTOR 2 remake was/is planned as recent as March. This is all on top of the KOTOR 1 news that we sort of already knew about. So that leads us to these tweets here. Now, I'm not going to read through the whole thing. Unfortunately, the actual blog post itself is behind a paywall, so there's only so much you can access. But this article here pretty much talks about the DLC that was, I believe, meant to be coming to the Switch, and it was KOTOR 2 restored content DLC, essentially, which was something that apparently just never really came to fruition. It was going to happen and something went wrong, which he mentions that in here, but unfortunately I can't read it because it's behind a paywall. But this tweet right here is very interesting. He's talked about the thread all here. He says, I made this night thread, but let's be real. The part people are going to buzz about the most is that Disney Lucasfilm Games, as recently as March, has been planning a full KOTOR 2 remake. Yes, that's a 2. And no, not a port, a full remake with Obsidian's cut content back in, which that is where the original restored content DLC sort of came from. So that is very exciting. Now, this guy writes for Gamefile. He has nearly 100,000 followers. So this isn't just some random dude. He is a reporter. And obviously it doesn't mean it's legitimate, but generally when someone in the industry talks about stuff like that, it generally leads somewhere. Where there's smoke, there's flame, as they always say. Doesn't mean it's all legitimate, but this has been apparently brewing as recently as March this year. So that does lead us back to this tweet where obviously this guy, and keep in mind again, this guy, he's only got 4,000 followers. I've seen him leak things in the past that turned out to be legitimate. He's a fairly notable leaker and he's fairly reputable as well. The fact he said this immediately grabbed my attention and obviously many other people. And the follow-up saying the title of this game ends in the Old Republic kind of lines up with what Stephen was saying. So that would have to be my guess, that today at the Game Awards, I'm saying today, it's tomorrow for me as I'm recording, but today as you guys are watching this in about 12 hours, there is a very good chance that we get something related to KOTOR. We got the original little teaser trailer. I don't even know how long ago that was. That was, you know what, let me pull that up. That was 4 years ago. 4 whole ass years ago. And just to remind you guys of the actual trailer, it's so fucking loud in my ears. This is all it was. We just see Revan. He turns his sabers on, I'm pretty sure, and that's pretty much all we get. But obviously, this sent people into absolute meltdown, and as it should. KOTOR is one of the GOATs. It is arguably the best Star Wars game ever made. So yeah, this is pretty much all we got, and I think the rest is just, yeah, literally the title card. I can't remember if it says anything about dates or anything after this, because it's been years since I watched this trailer. And that's right too. It was meant to. This was apparently a timed exclusive for PS5. I don't know if that'll be legit anymore. It might still be the case. I don't know. But the thing is here, right? Aspyr. Apparently that has then fallen out. So that's where the drama has come with this game. That Aspyr are now apparently not in control of this. I think it was passed on to Saber Interactive. They then weren't going ahead with it or something, and it's now been passed on to Madhead Games or something. So there is drama with this game, but that's kind of what I'm expecting. There was this initial trailer that came out. When was this? September 10th. So over 4 years ago now. That trailer came out, and so if I had to guess, that is most likely what we're going to be getting at the Game Awards. Maybe an updated trailer. Maybe the game is actually close to coming out or something. I'm not entirely sure. But if I had to guess, I do feel as though there's a good chance we may actually get either a KOTOR trailer or something, or even the announcement, like an official announcement of KOTOR 1 and 2 remakes. Because yes, they've announced this, but 4 years ago, and then it's been passed around to multiple studios. They almost need to re-announce that it is still happening, I think. So that would be my guess for what's going to happen tomorrow. Again, we don't know. That's why you guys should tune into the stream to make sure that if this does get revealed, we can all share that together and have a bit of fun with it. So that would be my initial guess. Now, there is one other thing to go through. The Total War game that we've known about for years, right? There is apparently a Star Wars Total War game made by Creative Assembly, who make all of the other Total War games, Total War Rome, and I think the most recent one's Total War Pharaoh or something, which is obviously set in Egypt. Those games are really cool. They're very niche, but they're very cool games. And apparently there is a Star Wars version of this coming. Now, earlier this week for the 25th anniversary of Creative Assembly, they had some live stream, and I was, unfortunately, it was like at 3 a.m, so I wasn't watching it, but there were some rumors that the Star Wars announcement was going to actually happen at that live stream. It didn't, but they said they will be revealing something officially at the Game Awards. So there is also the slight chance that we may get the actual reveal of a Star Wars Total War game at the Game Awards as well. Now, as you can see, there is a good chance that it is just going to be a regular Total War game, because I think they did announce something else, Total War Medieval or something. I can't really remember, but a lot of people pretty much from that last live stream, they realized it's most likely not going to be the Star Wars game getting revealed at the Game Awards, but I wouldn't completely rule it out either. So there is still a chance that happens. There is then also, in my opinion, the chance that we get the Jedi 3 trailer, because there is a very good chance next year Jedi 3 comes out. Jedi Survivor came out in April of 2023. So for example, April 2026 would be 3 years after, and that's pretty much the same amount of time. It was about 3.5 years from Jedi Fallen Order to Jedi Survivor, and so a 3-year gap is reasonable. I think I'd prefer a 4-year gap to make sure they get it right, but there is a chance Jedi 3 comes out next year, and if that's the case, there is a good chance we would get the trailer or some official announcement of it at the Game Awards. So that is also a possibility. I think the KOTOR thing definitely lines up more. I think that is 90% chance of what's going to happen if we get anything. I don't want to get my hopes up too much because it's Star Wars gaming, and man, we have had it rough. So I'm trying so hard to not get my hopes up. But like I said, there is a good chance that, yeah, we're going to get something. I really do feel confident that we're going to get something tomorrow or today. And so I just wanted to fill you guys in on all of the kind of information out there. Again, none of what has been said is absolutely confirmed or anything. It's all leaks and rumors, so you have to take it all with a grain of salt, but there is definitely a very good chance something happens tomorrow because of all of this news that's gone on over the last week or so. So like I said, if you want to tune in and watch the Game Awards, not only for the Star Wars side of it, but I'm going to be obviously reacting to all of the games, be sure to check out the gaming channel. The link will be at the top of the description. I'll be live 12 hours after this video goes live. It'll be about 11:30 a.m. AEDT for anyone who wants to put that into their own time zone. But yeah, be sure to turn on your notifications and tune into the stream. It'll be good fun. It's always a lot of fun streaming that because we just mostly talk shit in the chat and react to some really good games, and also generally there's some really shit looking games that we make fun of. So hopefully I see all of you guys there. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully we do get some news tomorrow. And if we do, by the way, and even if you're not at the stream, I will be making a video immediately after the stream. So if we do get any news, be sure to keep your eyes peeled on this channel because I'll obviously upload Star Wars news on this channel. And hopefully there is something to talk about. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day and may the Force be with you always.